Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me for another spooky video. So I think for today's episode number 3, I am going to be sharing another one of my own spooky experiences while I repot a plant. And that plant of choice is going to be this Hoya Wyetii. Oh, I'm so scared of knocking Hoya leaves off all the time. So I'm just going to be potting it into this terracotta pot because it's still in its nursery pot and I like putting my Hoya in terracotta. Wait, did I call this a Wyetii? It's a SuperThrive. I don't remember what I said. Okay, so as a lot of you know, I work as a nurse in the hospital, and hospitals, oh my god, I'm getting so spooked already. I can hear people upstairs. Hospitals are known to be haunted often and the floor that I work on is no exception. The floor that I work on actually used to be the pediatric floor. It is no longer the pediatric floor, but we tend to have some patients that perhaps never left. So a lot of the time we will have current patients say that they see children. It's often a little girl. We've had multiple patients describe seeing a little girl. Yeah, there's just been strange things that have happened. So yes, it is always creepy when you are in the room with a patient and they start talking about the little girl that's in there with you. So before I was employed on this floor, I actually did my practicum there as a student, and this is how I found out that our floor used to be the pediatric floor. So we will rewind back to a few years ago, probably 4 years ago now, when I was in my preceptorship as a student. I remember it was on a night shift and it was just a normal night shift like any other nights as far as I knew. And I remember I had been helping a patient in their room, and I came out and I was in the hallway and I was washing my hands at the sink. It was pitch black. I was the only person in the hallway. Everybody else was at the nursing desk, which is down the hall. So there I was in the dark, washing my hands, just minding my own business, when I could distinctly hear the sound of children giggling and playing. Oh my goodness, it gives me chills to this day. I remember I heard it and it spooked me out so much. Like, it was so clear and distinct that I booked her down the hall with my hands still wet and approached the nurses at the nursing station and told them what I heard. And they didn't seem too fazed, and they were like, oh yeah, that's just the children. And I was like, pardon me? Like, what do you mean, what children? There's nobody staying here with children tonight. Like, what are you talking about? And that is when they informed me that our floor used to be the pediatric floor, and sometimes children are heard or seen. And yeah, obviously I was terrified after that. That scared me for a long time. I have actually not heard or seen anything since. I've had patients that have heard and seen things, but me myself, I have not had another experience or encounter. I remember my preceptor at the time, or maybe it was my next preceptor. I remember she told me that some creepy things would happen to her as well. I remember it was on night shift again. She was taking her break and she was taking her break and was taking a nap and was woken up by the sound of like a children's toy. So then they were looking around the room and they actually found a children's toy just randomly in the room, which is very strange. nobody knew where it came from. So just weird stuff like that. Sometimes I get creeped out when I'm on night shift and that kind of stuff pops into my head when I'm in the dark, like checking on patients by myself or something like that. But yeah, it's definitely a really creepy experience that I had. I actually have another story that happened to me if you guys want to listen to me tell one more. This second story takes place in, oh, here, the plant is done. This is what it looks like. My Hoya Shepherdii, way better in terracotta. It's thirsty too, it needs a drink, so I'm gonna water it after this. I can tell it's all wrinkled, but yeah. I'll put them right there. Okay, so the second story takes place in the same house that my sleep paralysis story took place in, my mom's house that she lived in a few years back. But this was actually after that, so it was more recent than that. This was probably 5 years ago, I'm gonna say. I think I was in my first year of nursing school actually, so does that add up? 6 years ago maybe? Anyways, I was in my first year of nursing school and I was living with my mom, and I had just started talking to my now ex. It was the guy that I was dating at the time, and it was a long distance relationship. So this is in the age of Snapchat. It was before Instagram stories were things, so I remember we would Snapchat each other all the time and send each other little videos, and that's just like how we would chat a lot of the time. So this was a regular night, I think it was a school night. I was just getting ready for bed, doing my thing. I had just gotten out of the shower, and I remember I had just washed my bangs, like not my hair, but just my bangs. If you have bangs, then you know the struggle. And for some reason I was sending this Snapchat and I was like explaining that I had just washed my bangs. I don't know why I was explaining this to him, but that's what the video was. And I was filming myself in a mirror just talking about my bangs. And after I had taken the video, I was watching it back just to, like, I don't know, make sure I was cute or whatever. I don't know. This is like the very early stages of us dating or chatting or whatever. So I was playing the video back, and then I could hear something in the background of the audio of the video. And I like turned it up and I'm listening to it and I'm like, what is this? It sounded like a voice was talking. And I turned it up and I put it to my ear and I listened to it, and there was a voice that distinctly said, "Good night, Fern." And I'm like, oh my god, it gives me chills to think about now. I'm like tearing up. So creepy. So again, I ran to my brother and I was playing this for him, and I'm like, what the hell was that? And he was convinced that it was our mom. He's like, if that was mom, blah blah blah. And I'm like, no, it wasn't, because my mom had gone to bed a lot earlier. She was sleeping, like fast asleep. There was no way it was my mom. It did not sound like my mom. It was like a strange voice, kind of like high pitched. I don't even know how to describe it. It was just a really strange voice, and it was so clear that you could hear those words, "Good night, Fern." Like, just so bizarre. And I remember I saved the video and I brought it to school and I was showing it to so many people, and everyone was just like, what the hell? Like, they could all hear it. I never figured out where the voice came from or what the heck. It was absolutely bizarre. It still like gives me chills to this day, and I truly have no explanation for it. So yes, 2 creepy things happened to me in that house. And I honestly, like, I wonder if I still even have the iPhone that video is saved onto, because I would love to find it just because it is so freaking creepy. I feel like I don't have that iPhone anymore, but if I ever find it, I will put it somewhere so that you guys can listen to it. Okay, so that is it. That is my stories. I feel like it's so much easier to tell the stories without doing the potting, but also this is like, I want to incorporate plants somehow, so yeah. I hope you guys are cool with the videos being more talking focused than focused on the plants, because that's just the way it's gonna have to be with this style of video. Okay, so that is it for this episode. I still have a lot of stories that you guys have submitted, so I will definitely be doing more episodes with those. Let me know if you want this series to continue after Halloween. As always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave me a comment, of course. I love your comments so much. All right, I hope you guys are well. Happy spooky season. Bye.